Hello, Armando. I'm going to go through this with you. It's going to look terrorizing with all the yellow, but I hope what happens is a learning experience. First of all, in your lifetime, it is unlikely you will ever memorize the rules to a citation or documentation style, and that's okay. What you need to do is understand where to go to look for examples. In the module, I had some videos. I overviewed a couple of things about citation, and I also put in a list of links and places to find citation help. Those are so critical because it's just not going to magically happen. It's going to be something you go, oh, I have to do this. I have to model it. I have the citation elements. The citation elements are essentially the things we've been collecting every week. You have the author. You notice it was always first. An APA is the first thing in a reference. The next thing is the publication date. In APA, the publication date is expressed always in the same way. If it's only a year, parenthesis, year, in parenthesis, period. If it has more, it will have parenthesis, year, comma, unabbreviated month, and date, in parentheses, period. And you'll see me replicate this several times. The next thing that will happen will be a title. Nothing in the title is capitalized except for the first word, nouns and noun phrases. That includes acronyms like STEM, like you're using. And, try to think about, it'll come to, the thing that follows a colon. You got that a few times, you missed it a few times, but that's always the truth. From there, things change based on what it is. The next thing could be a journal name, or if it's a multimedia thing, you might need to explain in the title what it is in square brackets. And there's no reason you should ever memorize this. You should sort of know there may be some rules in regard to multiple authors, capitalization, what you italicize, and how you deal with URLs or DOIs and things of that nature. So, the first thing I need you to attend to is make sure you have that full sentence. I almost think in Module 6 we talked about it. We probably talked about it every week. But I found sometimes that students don't read the comments, and that's kind of bad because we really need that full research question. The first thing we look to here is a scholarly article. Now, what I've done, I've try to break things out with these little red lines, and you'll see I've given you a lot of notes. So, first thing, consistently, you did not include the parenthetical citation or the narrative citation. Now, the parenthetical citation is what is inside your text when you're writing that signals that this is the thing that it belongs to. So, in this case, for instance, let me just do it, and it'll be part of your thing. Actually, as it turned out, that wasn't even the person's last name. So, let me go down here, see where I found the guy's last name. Your guy's last name is this, and it is 2020, so let me bring this up. So, make sure you get the author, last name, first initial, middle initial as it's available. But here, a parenthetical piece, let me kind of turn this like so, would be this, comma, 2020, period. And how you might see that is if you went, the sky is blue. This is not something that would happen, by the way, but because it has to be something that is not known. We know the sky is blue. So 2020, and it would look like that. You might put and this is really, if it was a quote, the quote would fall on the side of the statement, okay? So all I was asking here is for this piece right here. This is just an example, so I'm going to take that away. The other way you could do it, and this is usually the preferred method of most people who grade your paper and work with your paper because it's pretty smooth, you would put Sentiment 2020 found the sky is blue. Now on this, I don't care that this actually represents your article that you found. I just want you to show me that you know how to string this together. I think that would be the best thing we could learn at this point. I just want to see that you do that. So from here, I'm not sure, you put these in, I'm not sure what these were, but this is what I'm looking for. this type of information. So make sure you look at the example. So what I did was include, and these were the links in the module. They were actually linked to these. And this shows you what it should look like. It shows you last name's first initial. It shows you an ampersand when it's a group of names. And then you see that it ends with a period with that name. In parentheses is 2019, parentheses, emotions in a storybook, blah, blah, blah. Nothing is capitalized in here except for the first initial, the word following the colon, and the proper noun phrase of the United States. What follows is the journal name. The journal name is capitalized. It follows a different capitalization rule. It follows almost everything is capitalized except for prepositions, articles, and conjunctions. It ends with a period. You can hardly see it, but the volume number, it doesn't have VOL, doesn't have hashtags, nothing like that. This is strictly a numerical statement, is 8. So this and this, they are all italicized. Then you go to the issue number when it's available. You put it in those, little parentheses, comma, beginning and ending page number where it's available, period. And then the URL or the DOI. The DOI is preferred. In most cases, you totally nailed that, but never, ever, ever, ever put a period at the end of a DOI statement or a URL, because that makes it so you can't copy and use it. That's the way I remember it most. If you've been using MLA, it's going to hurt you a little bit because MLA uses lots of periods. So when you're going in to look at a citation style, you want to know how they treat the authors, how they treat the publication date, how they deal with capitalization and italics in the titles and other pieces of their work, and how they take a break. Do they use, like MLA uses PP period in front of page numbers? APA does not. And the way you remember that is you go, in this case, APA style blog, but you can also buy the book. You go there and you look at the example and you order your citation elements in that fashion. Even when you go to a database and do copy and correct, copy and paste, you still need to correct. So what I did was I put down all the ways that I changed your various pieces into a correct item. Now, you can look at these. I want you to read every single one of them, and I want you to tell me you understand them. I need you to write me back. So I went in, and I went in order. Usually I talked about the format, hanging indent, double spaced for references. In annotation, sometimes a professor, instructor will say single space or double space, and make sure you look at the rubric and their examples to make sure you know how to do it right. I want you to learn how to do the hanging indents because they're annoying, and once you do it 8 times, you'll sort of get the hang of it. So read over what I did, see if it makes sense to you. But if you want to copy and use this, make sure it doesn't lose its format. Let me know that that makes sense. Also, so I went to this scholarly article. Somehow you put everything flush left, right, rather, never, ever, ever in a citation element currently. So you're also missing these. And I'm going to want you to do those, by the way, for each one of these 8. You have a magazine article, but this is a newspaper article. So you need to go to opposing viewpoints. And I think you know how to do the research if you found this newspaper article. Select instead for a magazine, okay? And usually their citation there is pretty good. So copy and use that. And if you want to send it to me in advance, I would be glad to look at it for you. This kind of shows you how it should look in case there's something very different about opposing viewpoints. All right, so I didn't really go over this because it was not a magazine article, but I put an example here for you. So we're going down, you're missing the same thing on all those parts. This is not a government document, it's a .org, worldbank.org. So if you had in your work, you should have had something in somewhere module 1 to 3 where you looked up something at the CDC. If that works for you, that cdc.gov, that should be the piece that goes here. So go through your work and find that. So I'm going down to, I put your example in. Newspaper is here. I had to fix it because It did in fact have an author. It was Reuters, by the way. And I put Reuters staff. That was what was on the piece. Your publication dates were out of order. 2020, comma, August, always filled out, never abbreviated. 11 is in parentheses, in period. Half a daily cases. I had to look at America's. Yes, America's was correct. It is a proper noun. It is capitalized. I did not do this. The WHO, of course, is an acronym, and the US is an abbreviation, so those should be capitalized. I ended with Reuters, which I italicized, and this is the link. It didn't fit all on this line, and I want to make sure I take out that. Do put periods behind them. And the way that you remember this is MLA does want the periods. APA doesn't, because it wants you to copy and correct it, put it in your browser, and go read that piece immediately. Or something like that, by the way. So then we're going to the .org, and I wasn't sure what that is, but it's missing the citations, but this is what you had. You didn't have them last name, first initial. This is not the publication date. It's 2020, comma, April 08. Nothing is capitalized here, but that is correct. COVID is a proper noun phrase. Trade should be capitalized, and that's also a name of something. This might be something I would argue about, but I think this is good to go. And you also sometimes put your titles in quotes. You don't need to do that. And in this case, since it's a sort of a simple thing, I think, or did we have a moment? Oh, so this is what happened with this one. This doesn't match this. This page is, and I'm going to make a list of things that you need to fix. This page goes to a page of things that are nothing but links. It's a list of links. It doesn't actually have content. And the name of the person on the page, is it this person? Again, last name, first initial. Then you'll be in parentheses, 2020, comma, April spelled out, not abbreviated, 8, in parentheses, period. And you would have this, but this is a section. It has lists, so this is not going to be good for the final project. I feel like we might have gone over this, and I asked you to look for something else, but I have to say I don't remember right now. So if you have some notes, kind of look at those. So I'm going to ask you to redo that, and I kind of moved these all down so that they had compartments. I didn't want to make this smaller, but if you want to do that, so because you're not going to read it, but these are really important. Again, these are the links that were in the module that were supposed to be used to help you fix these. So this was absolutely correct. Even though it's not a YouTube video, we treat it the same way because these videos are collected on this site, Voices of Youth. So we do use the name of the person's username, and I put a period. We have 2020, comma, May 11th, in parentheses, in period. The title is italicized. Nothing is capitalized except for the first word in COVID-19, which is a proper noun, and it ends with a URL that does not have a period at the end. For things that are not print or need description, APA uses a square bracket system, and it goes inside the period with the title, but it doesn't take on, if it's italicized, it doesn't take that on, and the V is capitalized. And sometimes this would go for a podcast, certain kind of tables or figures or can't think of them right now. The little information type tables and graphics that you look at. This, I wasn't sure what it was. I think you didn't understand what I meant by parenthetical and the narrative piece. So you did this, and that's, you can take that out. No need for that business. You'll just fill in the others. And this is social media. Now, this is important because in my piece, when we did the social media, I really wanted you guys to use social media, but that sort of went out of hand. So that is my fault. But in your annotation, I need to know what social media platform you used. Because here you are able to find a .org, and I will accept that, and that's fine. And here I tell you how to correct this, so this is correct, and also you need to add these items. But in your annotation, I need to know what social platform you researched to find this .org. That would almost take up your whole thing because it is the shortest word count on all of them. So hopefully you can do that for me. So I'm going to put down what you need to correct to send back to me. See if you can copy paste my pieces, and if you would be so kind, go over them, because I may not have gotten all the periods. I may not have corrected everything I needed to do, but all the stuff above it tells you what I did and why, and I do it in the order of how you should consider it. Author, publication date, title. Everything else in the APA then starts to get a little bit different. The scholarly journal article one is one of the most difficult ones, but the most difficult one of them all is a chapter in a textbook or an anthology. Hopefully, you'll never have to do that, but if you do, please go to APA Style Blog and look that up and follow those directions exactly. So, this probably is confusing right now, but read through it, add things, turn it back in, full points available. I just don't want you to lose points in the final project. So, do what you need to do, and I will work with you all the way. Thank you.